Hello FIGGIE fiends and collectors, this is me, Daniel East 1000, back again with another Indiana Jones Adventure Series figure review. Today we're going to be having a look at Wave 1 as a whole. Although we have reviewed all these figures individually, I just want to talk about this first wave as a whole, and in particular the Build an Artefact accessory that each of these figures come with parts to build. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. And what a lineup for Wave 1. I do have to admit, it's a little bit disappointing that we've not seen these, at least over here in the UK, at mass retail. They've mainly been seen at independents, such as Finn Planet, and comic book shops. With a new film out for Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, it's a little bit disappointing to not see these at mass toy retail, but I guess Indiana Jones does have a limited kid appeal at this point. Nonetheless, these figures are absolutely fantastic. If you're going to pick up one, then I highly suggest Indy himself, obviously. Obvious reasons. This is the iconic look of Indiana Jones from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that's what all these figures are based from. Characters from Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is the Indy for you. Granted, he is now a little bit hard to find, and particularly because he was at such a good price point of £21.99. A lot of these other figures were marked up a lot higher, which is a real head scratcher given all the accessories that this figure comes with. As we've talked about in the review, you can check that review out up there if you do so wish. It's worth noting as well that more recently Hasbro have done a reissue of this figure in a slightly bigger box, and you also get the kind of plinth that the golden idol sits on and the sandbag as well that this figure doesn't feature. It's basically the same figure just with some additional bits. However, it doesn't come with the Build an Artefact pieces. I hope to review that at some point, so bear with me. This particular Indy comes with the two headpieces for the Ark of the Covenant. My second favourite pick from this lineup is a figure that was kind of a mist from the 3 3/4 inch line that was released in the run-up to King of the Crystal Skull, and that's Toht. Toht in the 3 3/4 inch line was actually released as an exclusive, and to see him in this main line was a real surprise when Hasbro announced it. And in particular, the accessories that included with him are just spot on. I'm really surprised with what they included. Has the second most accessories to Indy. Now, as I said, I have reviewed Toht. There'll be a link up there so you can check him out. Toht comes with 2 walls to build up the Ark of the Covenant. If we're continuing on with order that I like these figures in, I have to give it to Marion. I'm really surprised by that, mainly just because on paper it looked like quite a basic figure, but the fact that they include the monkey with her and how poseable that monkey is just chef's kiss. So fun. I feel like as well she's a figure that really incentivises the reason to pick up the Cairo Indy as and when Hasbro released that exclusive figure. If you want to check out my review of Marion, links up there, well worth checking out. She comes with 2 walls to build the Ark, exactly identical to the ones that come with Toht. My next favourite figure, I have to say, is Sallah, just because it's Sallah. The thing that would have really enhanced this figure for me personally would have been if they included some torches, some snakes. All he comes with is a shovel and coiled rope. The figure's great, don't get me wrong, and if you want to see my review of Sallah to get my full thoughts on him, link will be up there as always, to check that review out. Nonetheless though, he does come with the top lid and the bottom legs of the Ark of the Covenant. Finally, I feel bad saying that this is my least favourite one, and it's by no means bad at all, it's just the lack of accessories. René Belloq is probably my least favourite one, just because it's just him in a costume that appears very briefly in the film. It's like literally towards the end. There's not much screen time with it, and I just would have liked Hasbro to done something a little bit different from what we've had before, in that we could have got René Belloq in his adventurer gear, of which would have paired really well with Indy, or even a Cairo look of René Belloq, although we are getting that with Marcus Brody. Nonetheless though, it's a fine figure. I really appreciate the sculpting, the detailing and paint, and well, if you want to check my review out of him, then link will be up there for you. Additionally, it comes with the 2 carrying poles for the Ark of the Covenant. So that's just a very brief overlook of all these figures. The articulation, the detailing, I really cannot grumble at all. There's a little bit of a hit and miss in terms of the accessories that they come with, but I'm not going to berate that too much, just because once you buy all these figures and use all the pieces that they come with, you get this. And what a fantastic complementary piece to go with these figures. And seeing how they've carried that forward into the next set of figures that we're going to be getting, so with the Temple of Doom lineup and Dial of Destiny figures as well, you get the skull that Molaram houses the 3 Shankara stones in. A really cool accessory, and actually the stones themselves do glow in the dark. Additionally, after that, we've got a Last Crusade wave where we're getting the Grail table. Absolutely incredible. This thing's big, and it's understandable because a lot of those figures don't really feature that much accessories, and like with these, you can kind of justify it when you get the end product of that Ark of the Covenant, which is such an iconic MacGuffin. So let's just take a close look at this thing now.
Good God. Yes, that's just what the Hebrews thought.
Now what's that supposed to be coming out of there?
Lightning. Fire. Power of God or something.
And so here you have the Ark of the Covenant in all its fortune and glory. So if we have a look at this a little bit closer, you've got some absolutely remarkable sculpting. I can't say paint because all they've really used is just gold plastic. I'm not going to really berate them for the lack of paint on this thing because it is a nice little addition. All the figures come with, like I said, parts to build it. It didn't need to be anything too fancy, but the type of plastic gold they've used is decent. Although I'm pretty sure people out there who like to modify their figures and things will definitely give this a coat of even shinier gold just to repaint it up and make it look a little bit fancier. So if we look at the walls of the Ark, you've got pretty much the same sort of sculpted in embossing there of imagery on both sides, and just within here as well, and also on the actual carrying poles themselves. Of course, you've got the ornate design on the legs there as well. Nothing really going on at the bottom. Quite nicely sized as well, relatively scaled well. And additionally, something I really personally like is the fact that you can remove the lid.
Marion, don't look at it. Shut your eyes, Marion. Don't look at it no matter what happens.
And if you did want, you could probably fill that with sand. Or alternatively, what I think the great purpose of this is storing your loose accessories that these figures come with, because a lot of these figures do come with teeny tiny accessories that you can easily lose. But this is a great storage facility for those. Dump them in there, and that's going to keep them quite nice and safe and out of view when you've got these figures on shelf. So there's going to be no use for baggies, you can just dump them in this little Ark of the Covenant box. What a great little additional thing that you get from buying all the figures from this wave. Really pleased that they're continuing this on with the other figures in the line. I wasn't too sure how they were going to do it because the Ark of the Covenant is quite a nicely sized sort of relic. Everything else he sort of hunts down is kind of smaller. I'm sure they could do a crystal skeleton if they do a Kingdom of the Crystal Skull wave, which I personally love to see. I don't know about anyone else, side deviations aside. I'm really pleased with this thing. It's a nice addition that Hasbro included. I mean, they could have really just done this as a deluxe figure packing, but they didn't. They gave it to us in a buildable form, of which I think is the best way to sort of approach this. And yeah, it is a little bit sneaky because it does force you to get characters that you might not necessarily want to get, but if you want to build that accessory, then it's the only way you're going to be able to redo it. What a nice closing piece to the assortment. Just looks really good for what it is.
What a fitting end to your life's pursuits. You're about to become a permanent addition to this archaeological find. Who knows? In 1,000 years, even you may be worth something.
Son of a bitch.
Overall, I'm really impressed with this lineup. I'm incredibly invested, and I hope they continue to release some more iconic characters. There's been such a love and care gone into these figures, and I really do appreciate it. I appreciate that even with some of the exclusives they've been doing that I've not shown off here, are thinking outside the box compared to what they've done previously, and I can't fault them in that regard. It's been very hard to berate these figures because I've been enjoying collecting them so much. I've been more on top of it than my Star Wars figure collecting. It probably shows from when you look at my channel and the reviews I've been doing, because I've enjoyed reviewing these. I've not been mad when reviewing these. Yeah, I've been a little bit, it would have been nice if it come with this or that, but overall, what a fantastic figure lineup. I'm really enjoying this line. Let me know what you guys think of this line as a whole. What do you think of this wave in particular? And well, this is me, Daniel East 1000, signing out. and thank you very much for watching.